So let's move on quickly to we have discussed Liverpool and Florian Wirtz,
Yes.
and it looks like that would happen. Liverpool would have to pay the asking price that, or they will have to meet halfway. But I think they are very close in terms of valuation. What Liverpool is offering, Liverpool offered about 105. I think I have it somewhere. Either 100, I think about 105 million pounds or so, and yeah, 105 million pounds, and Leverkusen are holding out for 125 million pounds, which translates about 140 odd. Now I think the valuation is
They are
the
doing too
difference
much.
is quite. You get what I'm saying? The difference is quite marginal.
Leverkusen
I
are
think
doing
they
too
probably get it
much.
done, but I don't think exactly.
They are
I mean,
doing too
these
much.
dudes they sold Havertz for almost 100 million at the time. Like these guys, I don't know what they are smoking in the
I
valuation
know,
range,
like,
really.
Rabbit is a top talent, to be fair. I love him as a player. He's a very good player. Bro, he's not Mbappe. He's not like a player like, we're not signing Prime Hazard here. Like 120 something. That's a lot.
Do you get?
20
Yeah,
million euros is ridiculous.
it's
I
ridiculous. Yeah.
mean, if 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 Liverpool, I think Liverpool should go a bit higher, maybe 110 million pounds or something. I think that's pushing it. But if Leverkusen is still saying no, then like leave the deal. Just leave the deal. Because what's going to happen is they will be forced to sell at some point. So, you know, that's just it. It's ridiculous. And this obviously because as well, the trend Premier League has set. And I'm going to blame your club Chelsea here for this. When you guys started buying Enzo for 115 million pounds, putting in 100 and so you guys ruined the markets basically. Now everybody wants to sell midfielders for over 100 million pounds.
I mean, Enzo, I get you, but we forget. Please correct me
Ridiculous.
if I'm wrong. I think Enzo had a release clause. I think I'm not very sure. I will need to check this up. I think Enzo had a release clause.
I think he did. Benfica said no.
Yeah.
Then Chelsea said they were going to pay over this
So
valuation.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, so that they could exactly. Now I
So that
remember.
they
I think
could pull him
Enzo
out
had a
in
release
January.
clause, so they could not just that, so that with release clauses you have to pay it once, and that goes into your book for the financial year. So imagine paying 80 or 90 million pounds once. You have very little wiggle room with respect to PSR and financial fair play, right? Fair play rules. Now, I think what Chelsea did was okay. I will go maybe 5 or 10 or 15 million above the release clause and amortize it over 6, 7, 8 years, so that in the books it looks like I signed Enzo, but I signed it for 10 million pounds this year. Next year, 10 million
Yeah.
pounds, and so on and so forth. So that's what they did there. Then the other one that we did that people still scream about is Caicedo. Caicedo, we're already pretty much done with Brighton. At 90, Liverpool came and said 105, 100, something ridiculous. So again, I get it. Players are overpriced, but again, I don't think in the year we signed Enzo or even Caicedo after, we're going to sign any of them for less than that. The reason I say this, I go back to Arsenal. Arsenal signed Declan Rice for what? About 100 and what? Declan Rice just went for 100 and
That's
something million
100,
pounds or thereabouts.
105 or
Bellingham,
something.
exactly. Bellingham went for 120 million euros that same year. So for crying out loud, if you have the next best thing, it's just easy to say, come, look at Rice, he just went for this amount. So this is a player in this caliber. That's what it was. They were touting these guys to be in the same caliber, right? And you can argue whether they are still in that same caliber or whatever. But my point is, all these players went for. Now look at Declan Rice, look at Caicedo, Enzo, Bellingham. They all went for about just over 100 million pounds. So about 100 million euros. So you sort of understand where this is going. But I agree, Florian Wirtz. I don't know. There's no benchmark. And for me, if I was Liverpool, I would
Musiala will probably
believe it's
be a good
because,
benchmark. Yama.
but he's not moved. He's not moved yet. Yes, exactly. If I'm buying Musiala for 120, I would understand. Musiala is. I think I'll take Musiala ahead of. But I'm not saying Wirtz is not a good player. He's a fantastic player, but I'll take Musiala ahead of him. That's my own take on that.
Even correctly, I still think Foden has done more in the game. I understand Foden had a bad season, but let's not like
Yeah, he
let's
did.
not forget what Foden is capable of.
I agree. I agree.
You
Yeah.
know, I think on his day, Foden is a better player, but am I even for Foden, am I going to drop 120 something million pounds on Foden? I'm not sure, you know. So
True. Yeah.
I,
I think those amounts are meant for strikers. Yeah. And well,
I
maybe we
think
don't know the details.
if you're signing, if you're signing a player like Bukayo Saka or you're signing, yeah, I would understand the 120 million pounds because first of all, you're trying to get him out of a big club, you know. Secondly, it's a player who you know is going to deliver. It's going to work in any system.
Has
It's those kind of
done
players
it in the
like
league, exactly.
he will work. Like if you put him in a defensive system, he will play. You put him in an attacking system, he will play. You know, it doesn't. So it's one of those guys where okay, I understand. You know, but like I don't understand what's going on with the market. Maybe because as well, clubs are earning much more now. Valuations have gone up. Maybe that's why
Yes. I
they're
think,
hiking the
and
prices.
also another thing we failed to realize is that generally, I think in the last 2 or 3 years, clubs have been sort of, I call it saving. They've been trying to be on the good side
That's
of
true.
PSR. Now, a lot more clubs have like wiggle room,
Money
so they
saved
can
up.
spend a lot more now. Yeah, exactly. So now,
That's
we
true.
spoke about we've spoken about Liverpool, we've spoken about Manchester United and their transfer rumors. Let's move on to Chelsea. Chelsea, they signed Delap. We know that they are potentially looking for another striker. That could call the end of Jackson's reign at Stamford Bridge. But also another two positions that they're also looking at. First one is the left wing position. They tried to offer Sancho a deal in the current wage structure, and Sancho is a very weird player, and he turned it down.
No.
It's a weird one, right? You're earning what,
Mhm.
250, 300 at United, and Chelsea say, I don't know what Chelsea offered him, but my best guess is not more than
I
150
think they offered him
or
a hundred
180.
and something. Yeah, but he
My
said no.
brother, my brother, even 120 with what he played last season, he doesn't deserve more than
I
120
think
if we're going to be realistic. And you have a chance to you've been in a team that you claim that, oh, you've enjoyed yourself, you've been freedom, according to what people call a freedom fighter, and you get an opportunity. So you rather sit at home. Because the truth is, let's call a spade a spade. There is nobody right now that's going to sign Sancho and give him United salary. He's going to get a pay cut. So that just tells me that he rather goes to United and not play football and collects, and he values money right now than playing football. It's a weird one. So now Chelsea are going for the Borussia Dortmund winger Jamie Gittins. Now I think in terms of availability, similar to the striker role we spoke about, I don't think there's a plethora
no
of very good wingers, especially
fingers. No.
left wingers. We don't have a lot of them. Nico Williams was one that potentially I was looking at and was linked to Chelsea for a very long time, but I think he's about to sign a new long-term deal with his club, and then so that is pretty much off the table. Barcelona had already said they're not going to sign him, and so that was out of the way initially. And so it looks like it's going to be Gittins. Clearly, it's going to be Gittins, yeah, except something dramatic happens. And in this position, I don't blame Chelsea. You try to sign Sancho. Sancho said, "Well, I'm ready to get a pay cut and play for you." So I don't blame them here. They really don't have anybody to sign. So I think what would happen with Chelsea in that position is you will see a situation where if Jackson stays, Jackson might fill in there sometimes because I think Jackson is better off somewhere, but not a nine. Or maybe Neto switches to the wing because now Chelsea are going to sign. Sorry, Chelsea have signed the Brazilian boy, the Esteban William, that they are touting
Yes,
to be the
well,
next best thing after sliced bread. I think that's too
I
premature. But anyway,
think they're hyping him too
he clearly
much.
has talent. We'll see what happens. But I think I agree. I agree with you. I think people should calm down on that. But yeah, I think so. They are stacked in right wing, and Kudus is coming up again. It's possible to try to sign Kudus. Palmer can play on the right. So really, there are options on the right and in the middle, but the left is the problem. So we'll see what happens there with Gittins. But also one that came out of nowhere because for the longest of time, I think the brief, I call it a brief because I know that that's what it is. The brief from Chelsea Football Club was always to journalists was always, oh, we trust our keepers. We're not looking to change Sanchez or Jorgensen. We think it's good. When Petrovic comes, we'll assess him. You see all of that throughout the season, and now you are putting in a bid, potentially putting in a bid to sign AC Milan's goalkeeper who has 1 year left on his contract, Mike Maignan.
Right now.
And I'm like, yes, I love that. That's a top class keeper. Now, there's no guarantee that he comes and blows it out of the water or is the next best thing or is the best keeper in the world. I don't know that. But what you know is that when you sign a top class player, the chances of failing with a top class player is slimmer than the chance of failing with like an unknown player. So I encourage that, considering the fact that AC Milan they're asking for about 25 million euros, 30 million euros. Chelsea are valuing him at about 10, 15 million euros. We'll see. I think there is still some gap to fill in there. So what's your take on these two positions? Now Chelsea they're looking to sign in three positions: one striker, a left winger, and a goalkeeper. And we don't know who the striker is yet. It looks like Ekitike, but at 100 million euros, I think that is far-fetched. Chelsea will not pay that. I'll be shocked if they do. Winger, Gittins, it looks like the only one that they're going in for, and goalkeeper, Mike Maignan.
I don't know how much Chelsea have to play with this summer, but if you wanted to get a striker, Jackson has his flaws.
So Chelsea